Now, I know every man and his cat has reviewed the game Stray, but I wanted to check it out for myself. So let's see whether Stray on the PS5 is clawful or another catastrophe. Now, it might come as no surprise, but adventure games are one of my favourite genres of gaming. Things like Tomb Raider, Uncharted, just that sense of adventure, getting out there, collecting treasures, finding ways through with puzzles and things, that I just love. Now, when I saw Stray coming out for the first time, and there was that mix of adventure, puzzles, and a cute ginger cat, I was all paws in, guys. Seriously, this was just right up my alley. I mean, I can't be the only one that often wonders what is my cat getting up to while I'm not at home. In reality, Percy's probably sleeping, but in the gaming mind of mine, I think he's on epic adventures, and that just cracks me up. Stray begins after a cold, stormy night, surrounded by a gang of cute stray cats. To my delight, I hear a cute cat meow coming through the PS5's controller speaker. I'm always a fan of a game that utilises this speaker well, and thankfully that this game does it really good justice. The clarity of the actual speaker itself with the cat's meow was so much so that my dog Bentley jumped up to bark at a mystery cat that was not there. It's in the opening stages that we get to learn how to control our cat friend with running along narrow concrete paths, jumping across rainwater pipes, and then doing stunts like we have got 9 lives remaining. It is quite clear as well to see that this game was made by cat lovers. The cute twitchy ears, there's ultra realistic cat movements that we have here. It is easily one of the most realistic cat games I have played in regards to movement. It just looks and breathes just like a cat would. You know, one minute you could be slowly stalking your way through like a creepy cat trying to approach its prey, to the next minute running around like a mad cat at 3 AM. If you're a cat owner, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. I found it interesting enough that the real motion control was used with a cat called Nibbles. So it was a real cat that they attached these little balls to it to capture all that ultra realistic cat movements, and I guess that is clear as day to see because it really did give it that real polished look. Now, without spoiling the story at all, we have an epic little tale of a cute little cat that is lost in a big city. Surrounded by creepy enemies and self-aware robots, we've got to find our way through this game. But thankfully, we have our companion B12, which is a little drone robot that helps us throughout the game to get through some of the more tricky situations that we come across. There's also a real history behind this city, and we gain this knowledge through talking to the self-aware robots. We find out, you know, how they're living and what happened to the humans and why they're no longer there in the city. One other thing that really developed the story, made you feel closer to our robot friends, was the ability to do errands throughout the game. So you didn't have to stick to the main quest itself. You could go off and do a few other little side quests. And I know one of them I really enjoyed was trying to hunt down all the musical notes. So you had a robot musician, of all things, that had lost its song sheets, and it was our task as the cat to go out and find them. And some of them were more hard to find than others. But I just really loved bringing back these musical notes and having the robot musician play it. It was just so cute. And I mean, have a listen to this little bit of song here, guys. It's just absolutely adorable. Now, each of the stages are broken into fun-sized bites. So for the gamers out there that are always looking for something fresh, this is really perfect for you. But I must say that some of the levels did become a little bit more linear, where you were kind of confined to your environment, but for the most part, it didn't take away from the experience. purring. The environment within Stray was really good in my opinion. I thought that it had that real steampunk look to it with neon lights mixed in with the futuristic robots and technology and vehicles. I really did like it, and you know there was definitely a sense of, you know, there was like dirtiness within the areas as well, so that definitely fed into that steampunk look to it. There was one thing that did bother me while playing this game, and it was mainly the times where I did get stuck. If I wasn't quite listening to what the robots were saying in regards to where to go next, which did happen a couple of times, I would get lost and not know where to go, and this was quite frustrating for me. I thought that it would have been great if they had some sort of a directional guide. I mean, I use this as an example all the time, I know I do, but look at Dead Space. With Isaac, you just press the button and it lays down that blue line of where you need to go for your next objective or side mission, and that was something that I think Stray could have really have used. And if they do happen to make a Stray 2, hopefully this will be something that will be introduced. You could even maybe use the cat's tail as a directional guide. No, that's just stupid, but you know what I'm saying, guys. I just think that was something that was missing, and it would have been really cool. Now, there was a couple of little issues I found within the game. One was being stuck in areas where I couldn't get out, and I had to reset back to the previous save file. A little bit frustrating there. And the other one was the jerkiness of the camera angles at times would make you feel a little bit nauseous, especially in the areas where you're having to run away from the enemies, trying to get that angle right. It just didn't feel right at times, so those are my two little gripes there. Most of the levels are set in the city scenes, in houses, in above areas, but in other areas we do get to play some hidden areas and even underground areas. And it's generally in these areas where we go a little bit off path that we come across our enemies. Now, these enemies are called Zerks. Now, they do look cute and fuzzy, but please, do not be fooled. If you get touched by these things, and touched by them many a time, trust me, you are going to die. And in this game, thankfully, we have more than 9 cat lives, because if I had 9 lives, I can tell you guys, I would be a flat cat. I would be dead. One really cool thing that I had during Stray, which I hadn't felt in quite some time in another game, was I started to actually feel like I was a cat. Having the accessibility to go through buildings and houses and run amok and take my little paw prints through some paint and leave these little cute little paw prints on the ground, and you know, run across the piano and hit the pool balls into the little pockets there. It was just an absolute blast. Funniest thing that ever happened to me in this, and it was just so simple, was the fact of just jumping into a bag and getting the bag caught in my head. It was just something silly that I could just see my own cat Percy doing. And the fact that this game made me feel like a cat is just an absolute win in my book. Now, for those wondering what the difficulty is and how long the game is itself, to start off with, difficulty-wise, it's not really that hard. If you're a new gamer or a casual gamer, it's probably going to be a little bit challenging, but I think for the most part you'll find it relatively easy. I think the hardest part is probably going to be trying to figure out some of the puzzles more than anything else. And then length-wise, it can really be as short or long as you want it to be, depending on whether you just want to stick to the main story, or whether you want to do other errands, or even just run amok and just live the life of a cat and spend your days doing that. So I guess it would probably be around 4 to 6 hours. Can take a little bit more depending on how quickly you want to play this. Now, when it comes to the final verdict of Stray, now I was hoping Percy would be here with me, but every time I tried to do this, he got squirmish and wanted to get away, so I've left him out of this. The final verdict is that Stray for the PlayStation 5 is clawful. It was definitely worth your money and your time. It has come down to one of my very favourite adventure games, including an animal for that matter. It has just been an absolute blast playing it, and I enjoyed every minute. And it was just such a pleasure to do this review. When a game gives you so much joy and you just want to get this out to other people out there to enjoy the same experience, it just makes me ever so happy. Now, for those wondering, Russ, what are we reviewing next? Well, I know you guys have been really enjoying the Halo series, so we are coming back with Halo 4, and I'm super excited to get back into the Halo series and really finish this one off, because I've got the next series that's going to be coming out. It's going to be something very exciting, something that's got a very big history, but you're just going to have to stay tuned for that, everyone. So, as always, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe, fools. See you later.